All right, let's talk about something really exciting today. We're diving into a powerful new architecture from Snowflake that is, and I'm not exaggerating here, set to completely transform how businesses use AI. We're moving it from just a simple tool to the actual brain of the operation.
Okay, so let's get right into it. There is a massive shift happening in enterprise AI right now. It's an evolution, right? It's taking us way beyond the kind of tools we're all used to.
You know, for years, when we thought about AI at work, we were mostly talking about chatbots that just follow a script. But we're now entering a whole new era, the era of the decision agent. And this is something way more powerful. These agents aren't just spitting back answers. They're built to understand really complex situations, reason through your company's actual data, and, this is the key part, take action on their own. So let's see how Snowflake's new agentic workflow actually pulls this off.
See, this isn't just about running another analysis or building another dashboard. It's about creating a system for something called decision intelligence. The big goal here is to create a complete, closed-loop system that can take in all the raw data from every corner of your business and spit out an intelligent, autonomous decision at the other end.
So you might be wondering, how in the world do you build something like this? Well, it's not just one piece of software you install, it's a really carefully constructed architecture. And it all starts with a solid foundation, which Snowflake has conveniently broken down for us into 5 key layers.
I want you to think of this as literally the blueprint for building a brain for your business. We start at the bottom with the data layer. That's like the system's senses, just taking in all the information. Then we move up through the reasoner and semantic layers, which are kind of like the brain's processing centers, figuring out what all that data actually means. And finally, we get to the GenAI reasoner and the Cortex agent at the very top, which act as the executive function, the part that makes the final call. Let's start at the foundation, layer 1.
First up, the data layer. This is the 5 senses of the business. Its job is to gather a massive variety of information from every possible source you can imagine. And I mean everything, your structured SQL tables, your semi-structured JSON, and all your unstructured data like PDFs, images, even video files, pulling from both inside and outside your company. You have to have a complete picture.
Next, we move up to the reasoner layer. Now, what's so cool about this is, if the data layer is the senses, this layer is like a set of specialized regions in the brain. Each one is a unique tool designed to process a very specific type of logic, whether that's querying a database, making sure you're following business rules, or even predicting what's going to happen next.
All right, now let's get to the part of the architecture that really ties it all together. This is where that raw data starts to transform into real-world business understanding.
Okay, now we get to the semantic layer, which honestly I think is the most fascinating part. This is the core consciousness of the system. It uses something called a relational knowledge graph, which is basically just a smart map that connects all your data points to understand that a user ID is a customer, and an SKU is a product. It's the translator, turning technical jargon into the language your business actually speaks.
And this just perfectly illustrates the difference, right? The system no longer sees just isolated data points. It gets the story they're telling. It doesn't see a random transaction. It sees a loyal customer making a purchase. And that is a fundamentally more useful piece of intelligence for making smart decisions like, I don't know, maybe sending a thank you note or a special offer.
Sitting right on top of that understanding is the GenAI reasoner. This layer's job is to make sure that any action taken by these powerful models from Mistral, Llama, Google, or OpenAI is, as the source material puts it, super aligned to the business. And that is absolutely critical. It maintains control and makes sure the AI's behavior always fits your company's unique values and strategic goals.
So we've gathered all the data and we've created a genuine understanding. Now, let's go all the way to the top and see how this entire system actually, well, does something.
Right at the very peak of this whole architecture is the Cortex agent. This is the orchestrator, the executive function. It takes all that intelligence from the layers below it, delegates tasks to the right tools, and drives the final action. And here's where it gets super practical. The Cortex agent isn't just one thing. It's more like a team of specialized agents. You've got the analyst, which can turn a simple question like, hey, who are our top customers last quarter, into a complex SQL query. You have search, which uses a really clever technique called RAG to find precise answers buried in all your company documents. And this is huge. You have the relational AI agent, which can connect to other tools to actually do stuff, like send an email or adjust your inventory levels.
So, what does having an architecture like this actually mean for a business? Well, it represents 3 fundamental, game-changing shifts in how we use data and AI.
First, there's a massive shift from just seeing data to truly understanding it. You know, a traditional dashboard is great at showing you what happened. Sales are up, great. But an agent built on this architecture can dig deeper to understand the context and the logic behind why it happened.
Second, the system becomes proactive instead of just being passive. We're all used to AI that gives us suggestions for a human to look at and then act on. This system is different. It's designed from the ground up to be action-oriented, so it can directly trigger workflows and execute decisions on its own, which can just dramatically speed up business processes.
And finally, and this one might be the most important, it strikes a critical balance between the incredible flexibility of modern language models and the control your business needs to have. Those built-in rule reasoners and alignment layers make sure you get all the power of AI without the risk of it just going completely off the rails. It's controlled autonomy.
So the big takeaway here is this. With an architecture like the one Snowflake is proposing, AI stops being just an attachment, a tool you use to analyze data. Instead, it becomes the very carrier of your business logic, deeply woven into your core operations.
And that really is Snowflake's vision for the future of decision intelligence. It's an incredibly powerful framework that leaves us with an even more powerful question to think about for our own organizations. What would you solve first? Something to think about.